Good morning, kindergarten. Coming to you live from, you guessed it, still my house. Today we are going to be talking about texture and how Lois Ehlert uses texture in her illustrations in some of her books. So, if you look at these pictures, you'll see that these illustrations are mostly made of cut paper, and we talked about collages. Today we are going to talk about a different technique that Lois Ehlert uses. Now I want you to look at these pictures and see what you notice. How are these different from these pictures? What's different? What do you notice? These are called mixed media illustrations, and mixed media means she uses a lot of, or whoever uses a lot of different materials, the different things that they use. So when we look closely at these pictures, you might have noticed that these look like real corn kernels. And this looks like a strawberry, and we have raisins, and a real hat, and shells, and a feather. So when we make mixed media illustrations, the way that they include that in the book is they create the collage, the picture, and then they take a photograph of it, a picture of it, and that is the illustration. So looking closely at a couple of her illustrations in one of her books, I think, Snowballs, you'll notice that there's a bell and forks and bottle caps and what looks like either a mitten or a sock. Look at all the objects, and I want you to think about why Lois Ehlert might make these choices and how they make her books more interesting to look at, because we know one thing that illustrators and authors do is they create illustrations that are interesting and creative to keep the reader interested. Now today we'll be listening to a book called Rainfish. And in Rainfish, you'll see a lot of different objects, and these illustrations are a little different than what we've seen before, but they're still using the same style that we're talking about today. So I want, as you listen to the book, I want you to think about why she may use these objects and how they impact the pictures, or they change the way that you look at the pictures. So you'll listen to the story Rainfish. You'll pay close attention to the different objects that Lois Ehlert used. See how many things you recognize. Whoops, whoops, whoops. No. I see a can lid. See how many things you recognize in the pictures. And then you'll get a chance to make your own picture. And now I included, since we're talking about fish today, I included 2 examples. So you can choose which style you like more for yourself. So maybe you like the paper cutting collage, like in Fish Eyes. So if you like that more, you could create it with just paper. And then you could do the shapes. So when you write your sentence to describe it, it says, I made a blank with blank. If you choose to do fish, if I was going to describe, let's describe this one. I made a fish with blue, orange, and green paper. It has orange stripes, and it is blue. Or I made a green fish with yellow and pink paper polka dots. If you choose to make a mixed media picture, you would find objects, which is perfect because yesterday was Earth Day. So we can recycle and reuse these objects and create a picture. Maybe you choose to make a fish. Now this was an example made by a child. So they went outside, they found leaves for this one. I see a binder clip, an old washer for a bolt and screw. So these are things that they just found around the house. Maybe you have old newspapers. This is old tissue paper, old aluminum foil. See what you have and see what you can create. And what's cool about mixed media art, especially for us, is we don't need to glue anything down because we're just taking a picture of it. So if you choose to make something but you don't have glue, you can still make it because we're using objects that we can find all around the house or outside. So you can create whatever you want and then you will describe it. Here you'll have to explain what your picture's of, just like before, and how you made it. So if you did this one, I made a fish with leaves, a binder clip, and a metal washer. Where I made a fish with tissue paper, aluminum foil, leaves, and maybe a button. Or however you do it. So it's your chance to get creative. Find whatever you want around the house, create a masterpiece, and then write a sentence about what you made. I think these illustrations are very interesting. I think you'll like the book. So the link below for Rainfish, you'll watch that to get some ideas, see what you notice. And then tomorrow we'll have our last day of our author illustrator study. Can't wait to see what you come up with, artists and illustrators. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow.